Hey everyone, it's Alexander here, and I need to warn you. Today's story absolutely broke me. I had to stop reading multiple times because the emotions were so overwhelming, so raw, so devastatingly real. Our topic today is about choices we make when we're young, choices that seem right in the moment, but end up haunting us for the rest of our lives. This is about regret, about lost love, about realizing too late what you had. Subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and let's dive into this soul-crushing tale that will make you think about every decision you've ever made. My name is Michael. I'm 47 years old now, but this story begins when I was 25, 22 years ago, a lifetime ago, back when I thought I knew everything, when I thought I had all the time in the world, when I made the biggest mistake of my life and didn't even realize it until it was far too late to fix it. I need to tell you about Elena. We met in college. I was a junior, she was a sophomore. It was one of those completely ordinary moments that somehow changes everything. We both reached for the same book in the library. Our hands touched. We laughed. She had this smile that could light up a room, these warm brown eyes that saw right through all my bullshit, and this laugh that sounded like music. "You can have it," she said, pulling her hand back. "No, you take it," I insisted. "I can find another copy." Or, she said, tilting her head with that smile, "we could share it. Study together." That's how it started. Over a borrowed library book about medieval European history. We started studying together, then having coffee together, then having dinner together. Within 3 months, we were inseparable. Elena was everything I'd never known I needed. She was kind in a way that seemed almost impossible in this world. Patient, understanding. She saw the best in everyone, even when they didn't deserve it. She volunteered at homeless shelters on weekends. She stopped to pet every dog she saw on the street. She cried during sad movies and laughed at my terrible jokes and made me want to be a better person just by existing. We dated for 4 years. For years of being completely, perfectly happy. She moved into my apartment after graduation. We adopted a cat named Professor Whiskers. We had Sunday morning pancake traditions and Friday night movie marathons. We talked about the future like it was already written, marriage, kids, growing old together. She used to fall asleep with her head on my chest, and I'd lie awake listening to her breathe, thinking I was the luckiest man alive. I was 25 years old when she proposed. Yeah, she proposed to me. We were on the beach at sunset, one of those perfect California evenings where everything is golden and warm, and she just looked at me and said, "Michael, I don't want to wait anymore. Marry me." I should have said yes. God, I should have said yes immediately, without thinking, without hesitating. But I hesitated. I saw something flash across her face, hurt, disappointment, fear, and I scrambled to explain. "Elena, I love you. You know I love you. But we're so young. We have our whole lives ahead of us. Don't you want to, I don't know, experience more first? Travel? Focus on our careers? We have time." "Time," she repeated softly. "You think we have time? Don't we? Baby, we're 25 years old. We don't need to rush into marriage. Let's enjoy being young, being free. We can get married later, when we're more established, more settled." She was quiet for a long time, staring out at the ocean. The sun was sinking below the horizon, painting everything in shades of orange and red. It should have been romantic. Instead, it felt like something was ending. "Okay," she said finally. "Okay, you're right. We have time." But something changed after that night. She was still loving, still Elena, but there was a distance that hadn't been there before. Like she was holding a part of herself back, protecting herself from something. 6 months later, I got a job offer. A huge opportunity with a tech startup in New York. Great salary, amazing benefits, real career advancement. The kind of opportunity you don't turn down when you're 26 years old and trying to build a future. Elena was happy for me, genuinely happy. "That's amazing, Michael. You should take it. Come with me," I said. "We'll move to New York together. You can find work there. It'll be an adventure." She shook her head. "I just started my position at the nonprofit here. I can't just leave. These kids depend on me." Elena worked with at-risk youth. She'd found her calling, her purpose, and I was asking her to give it up for my career. "So we'll do long distance," I said. Couples do it all the time. It's not forever. A year, maybe two, and then we'll figure out the next step. A year or two, she repeated, that same soft tone from the beach. And then what? You'll come back here? Or I'll move there. When does our life actually start, Michael? This is our life starting. This is us building our futures so we can have the life we want together. She looked at me for a long time. Is it? Or are you just waiting? For what? I don't know. For something better? For the perfect time that's never going to come. That's not fair, Elena. I love you. I want to be with you. But I also need to pursue this opportunity. Why can't you understand that? I do understand it. That's the problem. I understand it perfectly. I moved to New York. We tried long distance. For 8 months, we tried. Weekly video calls. Monthly visits when we could afford flights. Constant texting. But it wasn't the same. How could it be? We were living separate lives, making separate friends, building separate futures. The calls got shorter. The visits got rarer. The texts got more sporadic. And then one day, she called me. I remember I was in a meeting, and I saw her name pop up on my phone. I almost sent it to voicemail because I was busy, because there was this important presentation happening, because I thought I could call her back later. But something made me answer. Step out of the meeting. Take the call. Hey, baby, I said, trying to sound upbeat. Everything okay? Michael. Her voice was different. Tired. Sad. Resolved. We need to talk. Those 4 words. Those 4 words that everyone knows means something terrible is coming. I can't do this anymore, she said. This, whatever this is. This half relationship where we're together, but not really together. Where we're building separate lives and pretending we're still a team. Elena, don't do this. Please. I know it's hard right now, but it's temporary. Just give it a little more time. Time. She laughed, but it wasn't her usual laugh. It was bitter, broken. You keep saying that word like we have an infinite supply of it. Like we could just put everything on hold indefinitely and pick it back up whenever it's convenient for you. That's not fair. You know what's not fair? I proposed to you, Michael. I put myself out there. I told you I was ready to build a life with you. And you said we had time. You said we were too young. You said we should wait. And then you moved across the country and asked me to wait even more. How much waiting is enough? When do we stop waiting and start living? I'm not asking you to wait forever. Then what are you asking? Because from where I'm sitting, it feels like you want me to be here on hold while you go off and live your life and pursue your dreams. And then someday, when it's convenient for you, when you've checked off all your boxes, maybe then we could be together. Maybe then you'll be ready. That's not true. Elena, I love you. I know you do. That's what makes this so hard. But love isn't enough, Michael. Love without commitment, without action, without choosing each other every single day. It's just words. Beautiful words that don't mean anything when you're alone every night wishing the person you love was there beside you. I was crying now, standing in the hallway of my office building, tears streaming down my face, trying to keep my voice steady. Please don't do this. Please. We can figure it out. I'll come back. I'll move back to California. We'll make it work. Will you? Really? Or are you just saying that because you're scared of losing me? Because if I hang up this phone, if we end this call and this relationship, tomorrow you'll wake up and go to work and keep building your career in New York. Because that's what you want. That's what you chose. I chose you. No, Michael. You chose yourself, which is fine. You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to prioritize your career and your dreams. But I need someone who chooses me too, who doesn't need to be convinced to commit, who doesn't see marriage as something to do later when we have more time. I need someone who looks at me the way you look at job opportunities, like I'm something precious and rare that they can't afford to lose. Elena. I met someone, she said quietly. The world stopped spinning. What? I met someone. His name is David. He's a teacher at the community center where I volunteer. And Michael. He looks at me the way I've been waiting for you to look at me. He doesn't need time to think about it. He doesn't need to wait until it's convenient. He just knows. I couldn't breathe. Couldn't think, couldn't process what she was saying. I didn't mean for it to happen, she continued, and I could hear she was crying too. I fought it. For months I fought it. Because I love you. Because we have history. Because I kept thinking maybe you'd wake up one day and realize what we had. But you didn't. And I can't keep waiting for you to be ready to love me the way I need to be loved. How long? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. We've been seeing each other for 3 months. Nothing physical happened until I was sure about this decision, until I was sure about ending things with you. I would never cheat on you, Michael. You know that. I didn't know that. Elena was incapable of that kind of betrayal, which somehow made it worse. She hadn't cheated. She just found someone better, someone who knew what he wanted, someone who didn't need years to figure out that she was worth committing to. I'm so sorry, she said. I never wanted to hurt you. You'll always be important to me. You'll always be the person who taught me what love could be. But I need to move forward. I need to build a life with someone who's ready to build it with me. Elena, please. Goodbye, Michael. I hope you find what you're looking for. I really do. She hung up. I stood in that hallway for an hour. Just stood there, phone in my hand, tears drying on my face, feeling like someone had reached into my chest and ripped out my heart. I thought about flying back, about showing up at her door, about fighting for her. But what would I say? That now I was ready? Now that I'd lost her? Now I suddenly knew what I wanted? How pathetic was that? So I didn't. I stayed in New York, threw myself into work, dated other people, had a few relationships that lasted a few months before fizzling out, moved up in my career, made good money, built the future I'd told Elena I needed to build. And every single day, I thought about her. 2 years later, I got the invitation. Cream-colored cardstock with elegant script. Elena Martinez and David Chun request the honor of your presence at their wedding. She'd invited me. After everything, she'd still invited me. I didn't go. I couldn't. I sent a gift, a set of expensive cookware, impersonal and safe. And I spent that entire weekend drunk in my apartment, looking at old photos of us on my phone, hating myself. I heard through mutual friends that it was a beautiful wedding, that she looked radiant, that David cried when she walked down the aisle, that they were deliriously happy. I heard a year later that they'd had a baby, a little girl named Sophie. 2 years after that, a boy named James. I followed her life through social media like a creep. Watched her build the life we talked about building together. Watched her kids grow up. Watched her and David buy a house with a big backyard. Watched them take family vacations and celebrate anniversaries and look at each other like they couldn't believe their luck. She looked happy, genuinely, completely happy. And I was fine. I was successful. I had a nice apartment, a great job, money in the bank. I dated. I had friends. I traveled. I checked off all the boxes I thought were so important when I was 25. But I wasn't happy. Not really. Not the way she was happy. 10 years passed. Then 15. I turned 40, then 45. Still single. Still successful. Still fundamentally alone. I dated women who were smart and beautiful and accomplished. Women who should have been perfect for me. But they weren't Elena. They didn't laugh the way she laughed. Didn't look at me the way she used to look at me. Didn't feel like home. And I realized, too late, that I'd been measuring everyone against a ghost. Against the memory of a woman I'd let slip away because I was too young and too stupid to know what I had. 3 months ago, I ran into her. Pure coincidenza. I was back in California for a business conference, walking down the street in her neighborhood, and there she was, coming out of a coffee shop with a teenager who had her eyes and David's smile. Michael, she said, stopping in her tracks. She looked older. We both did, but still beautiful. Still fundamentally Elena. Hi, I said stupidly. Wow. Hi. It's been 17 years, she said. Give or take. Is this? This is Sophie, my daughter. Sophie, this is Michael. We knew each other a long time ago. Sophie smiled politely, glued to her phone the way teenagers are. Elena rolled her eyes affectionately. Do you have time for coffee? I asked. I mean, you just got coffee, but I don't know. Catch up. She looked at Sophie, who shrugged in that universal teenage whatever gesture. Sure, Elena said. Why not? We sat at an outdoor table while Sophie wandered into a nearby bookstore. The conversation was awkward at first. We covered the basics. My career, her family, the years we'd missed. You look good, I said. Happy. I'm happy, she said simply. David's wonderful. The kids are exhausting, but amazing. Life is good. What about you? Anyone special? No, not really. I mean, I date, but nothing serious. She looked at me with those same perceptive eyes. You're still looking for it, aren't you? That perfect time, the perfect person, the perfect moment when everything aligns. Maybe, I admitted. Or maybe I'm just, I don't know, broken somehow. You're not broken, Michael. You're just scared. You were scared then, and you're still scared now. Scared of committing. Scared of making the wrong choice. Scared of giving up options. So you keep all your options open and end up choosing nothing. That's not. It's okay, she said gently. I'm not angry anymore. I haven't been for a long time. I'm grateful, actually, because if you had said yes that night on the beach, I wouldn't have David. I wouldn't have Sophie and James. I wouldn't have the life I have now. Your rejection led me to everything I needed. That hurt more than I expected. I'm glad you're happy. I really am. But, she prompted, but I think about you, about us, about what we could have had, all the time, every day, and I wonder if I made the biggest mistake of my life letting you go. She was quiet for a moment, stirring her coffee. Do you want to know what I think? Yes. I think you're romanticizing the past. We were kids, Michael. We were 25 years old. We didn't know who we were or what we wanted. And you weren't ready. Maybe you never would have been ready. Not with me. Maybe you needed to go to New York. Maybe you needed to build your career and have your adventures and figure yourself out. There's nothing wrong with that. Except I lost you. You didn't lose me. We lost each other. Or maybe we were never meant to keep each other. Maybe we were just meant to teach each other lessons. I taught you what love could be. You taught me what I needed in a partner. Someone who didn't hesitate, who didn't need convincing, who chose me every single day without question. I'm sorry, I said, and I meant it. For everything. For making you wait. For not being ready. For breaking your heart. I know, she said. And I forgive you. I forgave you a long time ago. But Michael, you need to forgive yourself. You need to stop living in the past, stop wondering, what if, and start actually living. You're 47 years old. You're still young enough to build a life with someone. To have a family if you want one. But not if you keep comparing everyone to me. Not if you keep punishing yourself for a choice you made when you were 25. Sophie came back then, carrying a bag of books. Elena stood up, giving me a hug that felt like goodbye. Final goodbye. Take care of yourself, Michael. I mean that. You deserve to be happy too. I watched them walk away, mother and daughter, heading home to their life that I wasn't part of. Would never be part of. That was 3 months ago. I'm writing this now because I can't sleep. Because I'm lying in my expensive apartment in my expensive bed, successful and accomplished and completely alone, thinking about a choice I made 22 years ago on a beach at sunset. Elena was right. I was scared. I'm still scared. Scared of committing, scared of making mistakes, scared of giving up the fantasy of limitless options for the reality of choosing one person, one life, one path. And that fear cost me everything. I look at her social media sometimes. I know I shouldn't, but I do. I see her family photos, her kids growing up, her and David still looking at each other like newlyweds after 20 years. I see the life I could have had if I had just been brave enough to say yes. But I wasn't brave. I was a coward. And I paid for it with a lifetime of wondering what if. People talk about mistakes of youth like they're inevitable. Like everyone makes them and learns from them and moves on. But some mistakes you don't move on from. Some mistakes define the rest of your life. I made my mistake when I was 25 years old. When I told the love of my life that we had time. When I prioritized my career over our relationship. When I let her go because I thought I'd always have another chance. I didn't. Some people get do-overs. Some people get to fix their mistakes. I don't. Elena moved on. Built a beautiful life. Found someone who loved her the way she deserved to be loved. And I'm here. Successful. Accomplished. Empty. I'm writing this as a warning. If you're young and you think you have all the time in the world, you don't. If you're hesitating because you want to focus on your career or travel or experience more before settling down, think carefully. Really think about what you're giving up. Because maybe you're right. Maybe you do need time. Maybe you do need to focus on yourself and your goals. But maybe you're throwing away the only person who will ever love you like that. The only person who will ever propose to you on a beach at sunset. The only person who will ever be patient enough to wait for you to be ready. Until they're not patient anymore. Until they meet someone who is ready. Until they move on and build the life you were too scared to build with them. I'm 47 years old. I've had 22 years to think about the choice I made, 22 years to regret it, 22 years to understand that all the career success in the world doesn't keep you warm at night, doesn't hold your hand when you're scared, doesn't build a life with you. Elena was right about everything. I was looking for perfect timing that doesn't exist, waiting for a moment when everything would align perfectly. And while I was waiting, life happened. She happened, and then she unhappened. And now I'm here, successful and alone and full of regrets. They call it a mistake of youth. But it's not just a mistake. It's a choice I made every day for years, a choice to prioritize myself over us, a choice to believe I had more time. I didn't have more time. None of us do. So if you're reading this, if you're in a relationship with someone wonderful, someone who loves you, someone who's ready to build a life with you, please, don't make my mistake. Don't wait for perfect timing. Don't wait until you've achieved all your goals. Don't wait until you feel ready, because you might never feel ready. Just choose them. Choose love. Choose commitment. Choose to build a life together instead of waiting for your separate lives to somehow align. Because I didn't. And I lost everything that mattered. I have money. I have success. I have a nice apartment and a good job and everything I thought I needed when I was 25. But I don't have Elena. I don't have Sophie and James. I don't have Sunday morning pancakes and Friday night movies and someone's head on my chest while I listen to them breathe. I don't have home, and I never will again. That's my mistake of youth. That's what 22 years of regret looks like. Don't let it be yours.